my goal has always been to do nationals, or better known as MSBK, Malaysian Superbike Championship. But I would need a lot of money for that. So
roughly how much?
I believe with crashing and everything, tires and all that, maybe 100,000 more or less.
Okay, welcome to Motorgrapher channel. I'm very Sia, and today I'm having an exclusive interview with Yulina, the racer. So Yulina, I think I need you to share about yourself to the viewers. So yeah.
You need me to.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate this. Hello everybody, my name is Yulina, and I raced in the Amateur Championship for Malaysian Speed Festival for about a season. This year it was my comeback season, and I'm really happy about it. So I've had a really good season so far, and I really like motorcycles and motorsports and racing.
How I actually know Yulina was in the YCRS, Yamaha Champions Riding School at Sepang. So that's how I get to know her. So she's also my classmate in the trekking spot. So there is a few questions that actually I want to ask her, because one thing, she's full of energy. You got full of energy.
Yes.
Energizer, never end. Okay. So and I understand that you are a racer as well. So I just want to understand more before I go into the Instagram questions that you all posted. Okay. I will ask a few first, but they might be related, so I might not really share and put up the response again. So what I want to ask you is that what makes you go into motorsports? Usually, most riders, they ride, they're happy with life, can ride, can already. But why you go into motorsports?
There's actually a very long backstory to that. I first started so my first, you could say, big bike was an ex-boyfriend's Aprilia RS125. Shortly after that, I shared some cash to pay. I shared some of the payment, with my father to pay for my Ninja 250 as a Kawasaki. I thought I was good, because I was a woman who could manage a big bike. Of course, I was proven wrong immediately when my guy friends took me to the track. So there's small little go-kart circuit by Sepang, where you can just go, pay and play. And they brought me there one time, and I didn't know anything at the time. I also didn't have a suit. I had a two-piece, or I had one of those leather suits where you can merge it by the waist. The zipper.
Okay.
And I took my 250 with me, and I saw all these guys, and they were just leaning and cornering and doing all these really amazing things. So I was truly in awe at that time, and when I saw what they were doing, it was like watching a ballet performance for me. I was impressed, and it really moved me at that time. And of course, I didn't know anything, so they were all overtaking me and stuff. And I told myself, and I swore to myself, that I would ride just like them. So
they are, but are they professionals, or
they were just
enthusiasts?
They were just weekend circuit guys.
Weekend circuit guys. So they brought you to track.
Yes.
And because not everybody you can just ask to go track. No, some people are like, no, it's not my thing.
No, it's true, Barry. I think that for many people, both men and women, riding or driving on the circuit can be very intimidating.
Okay.
Yes.
So, then for motorsports, for trekking, what do you think, is it always about power and speed?
No, of course not. I think that is the general overview by laymen or regular people, that being on the circuit or racing is just all about going fast. But there are many other aspects or facets, around it. The finance part is one.
Yes.
The finance part is one. Learning to be better is another. Engaging someone with that money, with that finance part, so that you can be better is the third one is another. And I think generally as a person, you have to be completely okay with making mistakes, looking a little bit silly, and you have to be completely alright with the consequences as well. Because as much as it is, I guess you could say, full of glory, because whenever somebody wins a race, whenever somebody ends up on the podium, we always celebrate them and we're always so happy for them, and we always want to be their friend and be close to them, but we don't see how difficult their struggles are, behind the racing, and how many times they go to the gym and how hard they work for it, and the kind of stuff that they go through personally. I think that's the difficult part.
Okay.
Yes.
But then, anyway, I see your time schedule is always very tight. Then you are talking about the gym. So this is just an impromptu question.
Yes, no, please ask me. Please.
Then do you even go to the gym?
I would really like to, but I think as an amateur racer, and in my perspective, for all sports, for all and any sports, you are considered a professional if you are paid to do it, but you are an amateur if you are privately funding yourself. Or personally funding yourself. So I would consider myself an amateur. I would honestly really like to go to the gym and train more often, but I sacrificed all of that so that I could work, so that I could pay for the racing, because racing is very expensive, and I think I am the kind of person who do anything for my racing.
For your racing dream?
Yes. So I dream to race, so yes.
Okay. Then you still can keep up the energy. Alright. Then so for motorsport racing, there's also a cost. You keep on talking about the finance part.
Yes.
So
yes.
maybe you can share maybe a range of what is the price like. I mean for you to fund yourself to race.
I believe it varies from team to team, person to person as well. Some people would already have their own motorcycles, which is much easier. They just send the bike to a garage work on it, and they'll just give you a price after having done work on the bike to make it race ready, and then they will also charge you a fee on top of that to give you the crew service for the race weekend. So that comes at a different cost. As for myself, I don't actually own a motorcycle. I guess you could say in my situation, and in many people's situations as well in motorsports and racing, I'm more of a paying customer. So whatever that I've earned from my jobs and working really long hours and stuff goes into payment to the team. So I can give you a range. I pay roughly 10 to 15,000 each time I race, each race weekend.
Each race weekend.
Yes, and each time I test, or each time I have a practice day, I pay a range of, you could say 1,500 to 2,500.
For tests?
Yes.
Just to...
Yes, it's just to test, to see how good is the bike, or have they done any changes to the bike, anything. Yes.
So you fine-tune during the test?
Say that again, please?
You fine-tune the bike?
Yes. So, or they might have tuned it again, and I wanted to test it again, or if the race is close,
But you pay the circuit or you pay the team?
No. I pay to the team owner.
You pay to the team owner?
Bike owner.
To the bike owner?
Yes.
To test the bike?
Correct.
So the one you say 15,000 one?
That
one is for the race. That one is also for the bike owner and the team.
Correct, and the team, yes, and the team service that they provide.
So it's the crew pit. I don't know, the pit crew.
Yes, correct.
Pit crew team. It's a pit crew team.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So that amount, so you have to really work really hard just to hit that amount.
I think I really believe that these are the two things that nobody can take away from me. I'm hardworking and I'm resourceful, and I've always had that, I guess you could say, had that characteristic. It was something that no one could contest. So no matter what people said, it was always something that no one could contest. Yeah.
Oh my. Okay. Well, that is really a big amount of money. That's a big amount of money. I do not know anything. We always talk about, in general, we always talk about racing, we talk about motorsports and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, do a race, wow, wow, you're so lucky, kind of thing. But when you hear the cost of it and things that you have to sacrifice at the back, it's a different story already. It's like, and then they still have to smile at you, it's like, oh,
Yes.
Just imagine the type of pressure they have.
Yes.
Especially.
I think many people, as I mentioned this as well, and you mentioned it, you put it quite accurately as well. A lot of people only see the glory parts, but they don't see what comes behind it, the consequences of it. For example, I have broken a couple of bones, or more than a couple of bones, doing my racing or doing circuit riding, and but it's okay. I am completely okay with this, and I understand that this is the consequence of I guess you could say motorcycle racing. And of course, it comes with risk. It always comes with the risk. There's not just the glory side of it. It comes with the risk, and it's not as easy as one would believe it to be.
Then how did that happen?
Is
this the broken bone?
Yes. I actually broke my humerus, even though it's not such a funny story, pun intended. I broke my humerus when I fell down at turn 15 at Sepang Circuit. It was a practice day. Yes.
So you actually low-sided.
Then you hit the wall. I kind of squeezed the brakes too hard and flipped over. Yes. But I think it's something
that's the only one time lah. That's the only one time. That is really, really, really major.
I guess you could say so, but before this I had another major one as well. I don't know if you could consider it major or not. I mean, to me it's a common consequence of motorcycle racing, because a lot of guys also go through this. But I think people, and it's natural, it's something. I think naturally people feel a bit more sympathetic towards me because I'm a woman. But I think that this should not occur at all. Yes, the other one that I had was a facial crash. I had this from some years back, yes. And when it happened, I was known as facial crash girl for quite some time around the globe. So.
Well, but at that point of time, especially for face, for ladies, face is
correct. Face, scars.
Yeah.
I think these are things that as Asians are, you could say, not generally acceptable.
Yeah.
Not generally acceptable.
And someone, it will actually affect your mental health thing.
I guess you could say it affected me a little bit.
Okay.
But after that, when I got on the motorcycle, I realized that I was happy doing it and I still wanted to do it, For me, Barry, if I'm going to be just as good as the fast guys, then I expect to fall just as hard as them. So. Yeah.
That's true. So it's like, there is still some consequences.
Yes. And you have to accept, that these are the things that come with it. There's an English racer. I don't remember his name anymore. But he pointed it out. Taylor McKenzie. Okay. He pointed out that, and he's racing in World SBK and things like that, and British bikes. He raced in a few things as well, and he mentioned, that racing made him emotionally ill. Yes, made him emotionally ill because I think there was just so much going on, and and there were times where he just didn't have any money, and then he injured himself. So when you injure yourself, there's downtime and this and that. So and then I think he ended that video on such a positive note. He was retiring from racing at just 28 years old, and he just told everybody, that he's happier now out of that because he grew up doing that, since he was a child. So that was the only thing he knew how to do. So when he came out of that, and when he stopped racing completely, he started to see that there were many other things in life that he could do, like go out with his friends and go and watch movies with his friends and stuff. And he pointed this out in his video. It was very profound and very insightful. Liked it.
Nice. Yes. So what would you want to advise upcoming riders who wants to go into circuit riding? You want to go trekking. What would you advise them?
Have or search for the right channels, because I was jumping from unofficial racing academies to another unofficial racing academy, and I only found one that really suited me much later in I guess you could say in my circuit riding experience. That would be YCRS, where we met at HM school. This is the one school that teaches you how important braking is. because a lot of schools will just teach you how to go fast, but this is the one school that teaches you how to be not just a faster rider but also a safer rider. So I really like what they are teaching, and I really like the, you could say, syllabus.
Yeah.
I really like the module. I really like the module that they've presented. So have the right channel, okay, one that suits you. Don't listen to your friends. Okay, don't listen to your friends. Okay, make the choices that you want. Okay, have your own goals. Always have a plan. Always have a plan. That's what I learned from Champs. Always have a plan. And this is the one thing that I think affects everybody to a certain extent, and more than it should. More than it should. Don't care about what everybody else says.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard. It's hard, yes.
Yes.
And I think it's the kind of advice that's very personal to oneself. You know, like I can tell you, don't do this, or don't feel this. I can't tell somebody how to feel, you see.
Yeah.
But what I can say is, if you can manage your emotions to, I guess you could say, leave all these words from other people behind and aside, you will have a clearer mind, and you will have a clearer view of your objectives and goals. Not just in riding, but just general in life.
In general in life.
Yes, of course.
Because there are some new riders out there, they all hear, oh, we need this bike, we need this powerful, we need this mod, everything.
Yes.
Then they risk their life on the roads.
Yes, remember what I said just now, don't listen to your friends. I say this, don't listen to your friends.
Yeah, so sometimes we have to be very careful with what we hear. What we hear, input, do research before we put into action, or else you will end up sacrificing more things.
Yes, of course.
Alright, so now let's go to the IG questions, the Instagram questions that you all posted in my story. I replied in my story, so let's have a look. There's okay. Alright, so we start on this one first. Okay. Which championship or race are you joining next?
Of course, the Amateur Cup, as I mentioned to you earlier. If things look good next year, and if I have enough funds, I might have to gather the funds again, work really hard, work really long hours again to gather the funds, because I've already spent quite a fair bit, or quite a tidy sum this season. So I would really like to race the Amateur Cup again, and they've already upped the stakes for the Amateur Cup. It's all 10 laps now.
Oh,
and
last time it's how many laps?
5 and 5.
Oh, they split.
Yeah,
now it's 10 all the way.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So the risk is higher. The
endurance.
Yes. You have to endure. You have to have really good fitness to be able to get through. You really have to have good mental fitness as well.
So time for gym.
Probably. I think your bike has to be in excellent condition too. So yes, they've really upped the stakes, and I think it's a lot more interesting now because they've done this, and it's 12 laps for the faster guys, for the much faster guys.
Oh,
in intermediate one and above, I believe so.
I see. But yours will be 10.
Yes.
So when will that roughly be? Next year?
Typically, the Amateur Cup starts their race calendar in May, June.
Oh, around there.
Normally it's after the fasting month, it's after Ramadan.
Yeah, I see.
But I'm not sure. But typically it is roughly around that
So
time.
where can we see that?
You can catch it on Moto MSF.
Facebook.
On Facebook, yeah.
Okay,
Normally they would stream it or post the results there. However, just a follow up to that question as well, my goal has always been to do nationals, or better known as MSBK, the Malaysian Superbike Championship.
Yeah.
But I would need a lot of money for that. So
roughly how much?
I believe with crashing and everything, tires and all that, maybe 100,000 more or less. Yeah, of course, the more you have, the better. You know, the more of an advantage.
So the tires is the tires you have to fund yourself.
No, you are buying from the organizer basically.
Oh, okay. So there is still one brand that runs. It's the same thing.
Yes. So the tire sponsor or the tire brand is normally the title sponsor for the championship.
But you still have to buy from them.
Yes, you have to go with that. They'll give you a prerequisite amount, and then you have to pay.
I thought they just give you. So again, you see, wrong concept, wrong idea. So I know.
In some championships, they actually take it back.
Oh.
Yes, they actually take it back. Yes.
Okay, this is something general public don't know either. So yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay, the another one. Okay, this question is by Lee Yang 91. So that's for you. Another one is by Dinish 1A1.
Yes.
How long she has been racing?
I started my racing career in 2018, but I started it unofficially when I joined a fun race in Malacca Circuit, National Circuit Malacca, and I won first place in that. But I'm not sure if that really counts because I was kind of put in pole. So by the instructor, I was kind of put in pole. So I don't know if that counted or not. But my official race, in Sepang Circuit, that was in 2018, August 2018, I believe.
But 2018, that time, were you at pole?
No.
You were somewhere in the grid.
Yes, I was somewhere in the grid. I don't remember completely, but I finished 12th at that time. And I think at that time, the Amateur Cup didn't have such strict regulations yet. So a lot of things were happening.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of things were happening, a lot of things were not happening as they were supposed to. So yes, but I finished 12th at the time, and I think I raced for a bit in 2018 and had a few things going on. That was when I also had my facial crash. In 2019, I tried to race, no luck. I had a DNS because there was a bike problem, brakes. And then I think for a few years, I didn't race, not just because of the pandemic, but I was gathering the funds to do so. So, I mean, in other shorter terms, no money.
Yeah, but during the pandemic, you also even got money, you also cannot do anything.
Yes,
you only can see the track.
Yes, that's right.
We Singaporeans cannot even see the track. We cannot even smell the track. We cannot even cross the border.
You have KF1.
Huh? That time KF1 wasn't, not yet.
Yes,
After later on, then it comes in.
Yeah.
Have you tried KF1?
No, I have not.
Maybe you should try one day.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a bit smaller bikes. The bikes are a bit smaller. Alright, so Dinish also asked, how to get into motorbike racing? How do you actually get into it?
Meaning, how did I get to it, or how does one?
How does one? I think he's asking how does one get into motorbike racing?
Well, in my case, I don't have my own motorcycle, so that's fine too. But you have to have some kind of financial backing. So a lot of people in racing, in the Amateur Cup, are working guys like you and I, or working people like you and I that have already reached a certain age where they can afford to, I guess you could say, enjoy with their money. But a lot of people that are younger and racing have been doing it since they were children and supported by their parents financially, 100%. So it depends. If you have your own bike, Dinesh, you can probably look into some websites and you can sign up. I would suggest, as I mentioned earlier, looking for the right channel first and going through a coach or going through a racing academy, or a riding academy that can teach you how to be a faster, safer rider, depending on your goals and objectives. But yes, the finance part is always the most important part.
Yeah, the finance part.
Yes, undeniably and unfortunately.
So those crashes, then you also have to leave some spare for in case of crashes.
Just in case you have to fall.
Then you have to pay for the damages as well.
Correct, yes.
Especially when it's not your bike.
Correct. So, and I think that a lot of people also worry about falling, not so much on the cosmetic side of the vehicle, but on themselves. They're worried about getting injured because of the downtime and stuff. So, I guess you can say, how does one get into it? Money. And you have to be okay with falling and things happening. But sometimes things may happen and it may not even be your fault.
Yes, it's other people that actually cause.
Correct.
Or
and you
other
have to be
people
okay with this.
Some people just cut you in front.
Yeah, you have to be okay with this.
Yeah, you cannot complain. You cannot like, hey, why you do this? It's illegal or what? Okay, depends.
You have to ask yourself these important questions. Do you want it or not? I want it and I go for it. So.
Yeah, your want is very strong. It's super strong. Alright. Yeah, really super strong. Super strong, really into race. Okay, the next one. Okay, I'm not sure whether I will say this correctly. But I think just now she did answer. This one is when did she first start racing or this thing that she raced, And what makes you fall in love with two wheels? I think that was what you said earlier.
Yes, there are a few factors actually.
Okay, what?
I already mentioned earlier that in racing, how I started it and how I started liking riding in the circuit. That one I already mentioned. But I think just riding in general, I believe that there are a lot of films out there, and there's always the heroine in the film, and normally you'll see a high-speed chase.
Yeah.
And once she comes to a stop, or once the rider comes to a stop, he or she or this rider removes their helmet, and voila, as una mujer, it's a girl. And I've always really liked that. And I think that was partially what influenced me as well. But I would really like to believe that I've come so far from that.
Okay.
And that was what I looked at, and I think that was what we always saw in films, But of course, now having realized also that all these are just stunt doubles.
Yeah.
The actor, so they'll put the actress on the motorcycle only in the close-ups, you see. But in the riding scenes, most of the time it's a male rider, But I don't deny that there are quite a number of female riders or female stunt riders now who are pretty great and pretty skillful. So yes, but I think partially the influence to ride also came from there, and I think working on bikes and working on cars as well. For me, I really like not just the outs of it, but also the ins. So I prefer to understand the ins and outs of everything. So I did a few things. I did a few stints in a car garage as well as a bike garage for a short time as well. I think that was what made me love it even more.
So you just like hands-on.
Yes.
Yeah,
but it made me love it even more. So.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I saw you because I checked out your YouTube channel. You actually remove your own tires.
Correct.
Why don't you just ride over there and tell them to just change?
No, actually, my friend was working at that garage, and I asked him. I said, "Could you teach me how to do this? Because I genuinely want to learn." And he's like, "No." So I think the general perception is, women are slow, women are unable, women are not as sharp. But I told him, "Teach me," and he said no. And I asked him again, "Teach me," and he said no. And I think one day he just relented and said, "Okay, I'll teach you." So I learned that really well, and from my friend. Of course, there are way better people than me out there, because in this world there's always going to be people better than you. But I would like to think that for myself, I learned it really well, and I didn't expect to be able to do that on my own. So I think at one point when he saw that I was comfortable, he just left me alone. And even in the video, he just left me alone. So,
okay. But you removing your own tires, I mean, I don't understand why don't you just ride the bike to the garage, remove it there and change the tires. Instead of you changing the tires and you take the two rims and go to the garage. Yeah.
No, I think I really wanted to learn at that time. So I really didn't mind. So I just parked the bike at home. Like, it was just tireless at home. Yeah, it was just tireless at home, and I just brought it to the workshop.
Yeah, because usually in Singapore, we will actually ride to the workshop. We go ride workshop, change tire, But then I was thinking, like, why would you want to carry when your bike, unless your bike break down?
No, my bike was doing totally.
Yeah, that's why I was like, that's the only thing in my mind. But and because Malaysia, they are not close. They are not like Singapore, a bit small.
The distance. Actually, if I remember correctly, the distance from my place to my friend's garage was about 40 minutes.
You can actually ride there. I don't know, but anyway, that's why I was like just wondering. But you were really hands-on person, I can see it. Hands-on person. Okay, the next question. All right. Okay, this next question, unfortunately, is in Malay. I'm not really good at pronouncing it, so I let her pronounce. Is by Umar-Du. Is it? Is this or is this another?
I believe it's Umar-Do.
Okay, so she will actually also answer this in Malay, and then
you want me to answer in Bahasa? That's totally fine.
Then after we will put a subs.
Because this question is actually quite similar to everything that they asked.
Oh, quite similar.
But it's just that it's similar. But it's fine. I can
because
answer
I think you answer in Malay, so that I think he will be able to see this video and understand. But I will try to put the best subtitling. Okay, in English. when she explained this.
Yes,
So
yes.
I'll do that in post. Okay, right. So I think maybe you put this question.
Okay, so soalan daripada Umado. Apa yang membuat Yulina minat dengan sukan permotoran? Jadi Yulina akan respon pada soalan ni daripada aspek perlumbaan lah, sebab bagi Yulina sukan permotoran ataupun motorsports adalah racing ataupun perlumbaan. Pada mulanya Yulina ada Ninja 250 dan Yulina rasa diri Yulina bagus pada waktu tu. Okay, dan Yulina rasa diri Yulina bagus pada waktu tu sebab Yulina boleh buat motor besar, sebab kita wanita dan kita boleh buat motor besar, tetapi akhirnya Yulina sedar yang ada banyak lagi benda yang Yulina masih tak tahu dan Yulina ingin belajar. So ada satu hari tu member Yulina ajak ke Lita Go-Kart Sepang. So sebelah Lita Sepang yang besar tu, Lita besar tu ada Lita kecil. Okay, Lita Go-Kart di mana kita boleh payah dan kita boleh buat latihan, sesi latihan dalam tu. Dan pada waktu tu Yulina memang tak tahu apa-apa. Yulina cuma dijemput oleh member Yulina dan diorang semua laju, memang laju, dan diorang semua potong Yulina apa semua, tapi Yulina dapat peluang untuk melihat cara diorang beraksi. Diorang sangat lutut, cara diorang mengambil seliko dan sebagainya, dan Yulina sangat kagum dengan apa yang Yulina lihat pada waktu tu. Dan Yulina pun rasa, sebab biasanya bila kita ada dekat Lita ataupun bila kita mula untuk membawa motor dalam Lita, kita akan rasa sedikit takut ataupun gemetar sebab semua orang laju dan kita tak tahu apa-apa. Tapi pada waktu tu Yulina rasa macam Yulina tengah tengok satu persembahan ballet. Memang mantap lah, memang mantap, dan sangat padu cara dia bawa. Dan Yulina berjanji pada diri Yulina yang Yulina akan bawa macam tu juga. So Yulina ada menyertai beberapa akademi perlumbaan yang tidak rasmi, dan selepas 2.5 tahun macam tu kira-kira, Yulina ada jumpa satu akademi perlumbaan yang Yulina suka dan sangat sesuai dengan cara Yulina. Dan Yulina sangat suka sukatan pelajaran diorang dan modul diorang, apa yang diorang ajar. Yulina sangat selesa dengan diorang punya sukatan, dan ini satu-satunya akademi perlumbaan yang Yulina tahu yang mengajar kita kepentingan berhenti dan menggunakan brake. Sebab kebanyakan akademi perlumbaan akan mengajar kita, atau hanya mengajar kita untuk menjadi lebih laju sahaja, tapi bila kita brake, benda tu penting juga bagi Yulina.
Okay, that is a bit longer than I thought. This one, it will be 2 questions together. Okay, by Hafiz Bacon. Okay, so if she could do any other than racing bikes, what would it be? Why is she learning or posting Spanish? So, okay, so I just let her.
That is something that is definitely linked together, and it's very relevant. Barry already knows, by the way, because I shared it with him first. But I think there are a few things that people might not expect from me during the off season, because we're not racing during the off season, right? There's no racing and stuff. So normally people, what they would do is either go to the gym and bulk up, get fit. I am getting fit as well, but in a different way, in a different aspect. And it is something that I have really wanted to do early in the year. I planned for it and I put a lot of effort and hard work in it, and I never missed a single Spanish class. So hopefully I will do okay, or maybe even do well in it. But that will be something that I will do for the off season, and I am not sure when I'll be back, but I will be doing that for a while, for a few months.
Yeah, so will they know? They will know later on in your Instagram.
Yes, I'm sure they will.
Want to know what is it? Check her Instagram later on. Later on you will start seeing. Now you won't see anything yet. Yeah. All right. Then the next question is what's her most memorable moment in racing?
I understand that for most people, their memorable moments in racing is always winning something or being in the front row and things like that. But for me, I really like two things about racing. First is that feeling of being on the starting grid. There's nothing that can replace it. And also fighting or dicing with someone who is just as fast as I am on the circuit. So those are the things for me that count the most, and they bring me so much joy.
Oh, what do you feel in the starting grid? What is the feeling like? Yeah, a bit more specific on that.
It's everything, Mary. I feel nervous, I have the pre-race jitters, and I'm sure that everybody's feeling the same way, and I want to start, I want to go, how am I going to do this? Do I have a plan? Should I have a plan? I already have a plan, but sometimes plans don't work out. These are all things that go through my mind, but these are all things that also happen, you know, like you plan things, they don't work out. And I think in racing, anything can happen, you know. But maybe it's that feeling of not knowing when you're on the grid, that feeling of not knowing, and you already know that you're not going to know what's going to happen, because I've learned that the fastest person or the fastest driver or rider may not always cross the finish line.
In a way that it's either crash or something else happen. Or
Yes, racing's like that. It's anything can happen.
Okay, so it's
the nature of it is very unpredictable.
It's very, very unpredictable. More unpredictable than our weather. Our weather in Singapore also unpredictable.
Yes!
But racing is worse. So yeah, got it, man. Okay, so Hafiz Baker just asked something very simple. So it's not bike related. Because I know Hafiz myself as well. Okay, he's also one bike enthusiast. He asked, coffee or tea?
I'm a tea person, Mary.
Oh, tea person.
I have no love for coffee. I'm sorry to everybody else, but I am a tea person. I have always been a tea person.
I'm a coffee person. Okay. No wonder I asked you, hey, let's have coffee or no, tea person. So let's have tea.
Yes.
All right. Gary G-Man actually asked tips on how to ride and improve each sector of the circuit.
So the important thing to know is that when you have already started riding on the circuit, you should have two tools. A GoPro or an action camera. Any action camera will do, but I just mentioned GoPro because people know that it's generally an action camera.
Yeah.
Okay, so an action camera as well as a lap timer. A lap timer is crazy expensive, and I won't recommend it until you become much faster, because you can study the data, and that's a very detailed view of how you ride and how you ride in each sector. But even just having an action camera is good enough, because that's how you can see where you're braking, how fast you're going, if there's anything wrong, if something happened. I think that having footage is the most important one, because it's how you can analyze what's going on. Me personally, I have notes. And I know that it's not something so conventional that most riders or drivers do. Maybe some of them from the US or Europe do this, and I took a page out of their book actually. So I've also heard that good drivers or good riders normally will take notes. So in my notebook, I have a tip, I guess things that I would write little notes that I would write, and I also would draw diagrams of each corner and how to take each corner.
So you refer to your footage only?
I refer to my footage. I also have a lap timer.
Oh, you also have a lap timer. I just got a lap timer for my first track day.
Yes.
Because GPS lap timer is something you cannot lie. It's right in your face. So if this is your timing, it is your timing. And somewhere in between, if you are smooth, your timing can be consistent. Correct. But if you're not smooth, your timing can be horrendous.
Yes.
So I learned that also. I saw that. I was like, oh, okay, But lap timers are not cheap. So you can start off with GoPro first, and then you start to see, because if you are while you're concentrating, the GoPro is capturing everything. Correct. And then when you look back, then you start to understand, oh, so this is where I made mistake, all these things. And then you take notes.
Correct. Yes. So the map of most circuits in the world, or all circuits in the world, are downloadable on the internet. download it, and make notes, because I think it's really useful. For me, it really worked for me. I think that's the kind of work that most people don't want to do because they just believe that, yes, as I mentioned, or as we mentioned earlier, we agreed on it, that riding on the circuit is just about going fast, and just repetitively doing it until you become fast. No, but you have to, and if you're serious about it, like I said, no judgment towards people who just want to have fun and they just come to take photos with their friends, have fun with their friends, and no judgment on them because I think that the more people come to the circuit, the better it is. The better it is, But yes, for those who really want to seriously do this, even if they decide to race or decide not to race later on, it's always good to take notes. It's always good to have data, and the data comes from the GoPro as well as the.
Yes, correct. Okay, good. So Gary, this is what you have to do. You have to take notes. Yeah, just take notes. So next one is Ray Z Zino. Okay, he asked a question. He asked two questions now. Okay, but so here say, what motivates you to keep going despite setbacks? I will ask that question. Okay, the other question I think you answer yourself. So yeah.
What is the other question, Mary?
And will you marry me? I am doing an interview, bro. This is not a matchmaking session, bro. Okay, but anyway.
Bachelorette.
Bachelorette.
But the Bachelorette, but for riders.
Oh, for riders. Oh, maybe in future. Okay. So what motivates you to keep going despite setbacks?
Oh, Barry, I've had plenty of setbacks. Or Ray. Yeah, Ray.
Yes.
I've had my own fair share of setbacks. Personal ones, not just in terms of racing and riding as well, but just personal ones. But I mentioned this earlier as well, that you just have to be grounded and know what you're made of. You just have to know what you're made of. I think that a lot of people go through the motions of life without asking really hard questions to themselves. I ask the really hard philosophical questions to myself. Sometimes I get the answer, sometimes I don't get the answer, equally. But yes, you have to ask yourself, what do you really want ultimately, and where do you want to be, or where do you want to end up ultimately. I want to race, I want to do this, so I'm going to have to put the effort in it. And despite the downtime, despite the personal things happening in my life, and despite I guess you could say, not so affluent background, I've always really just, as I mentioned to you, I've always believed that the two things that nobody can take away from me is that I'm hardworking and resourceful, and I am heavily dependent on those things.
Okay. The thing is that for those type of mental preparation, it's actually really not easy. And to be motivated, to stay motivated is another thing.
Yeah.
So all those who are facing kind of like downtime, or they suddenly feel demotivated, what would you advise them to do?
Just don't listen to anyone.
No, it's no one.
Yes.
It's like burnout. It's like you do
Yes.
Yeah. What will you?
Also, you start to feel like you don't have purpose in this. I know what you mean.
Yes.
Of course, I've been there. I've definitely been there, and I've also come to points in my life where I am questioning what is the real reason behind me doing this, or behind my doing this. But I think I very quickly find my way again, and get back on track. Pun intended. I very quickly get back on track when I realized that this is what I really want to do. It's what I really want to do, regardless of what everybody thinks or says or believes, and I've also learned in life growing up, and of course racing also really taught me a lot, as a person, and it really made me so much better as a person. It helped me grow so much, as a human, and there are many ways to be human, I've learned. But yes, the one thing that I've learned as well is in life, after having many such experiences, is that people can say or think nice things about you, and people can also say or think not nice things about you, but they still don't know you. Yes. They don't know what you're going through, they don't know your lived experiences, they are just spectators.
Okay. So every time you feel that stress, you will just like take a break, sit down, there's like rest a while, then after that, then you start?
No, I think I have some sort of ADHD.
Oh, you just
My
like,
batteries
okay,
are
let's
running
go.
at 150 watts per or 1050 watts per second. So
Keeping your RPM high.
yes. No, but it's
Wow.
true. If I feel tired, I just take a nap.
Yeah.
I just take a
Okay.
nap.
At least you take a nap.
Yes,
I
yes.
thought you don't take a nap. You like the eyes, bloodshot eyes. You like
No.
never mind.
I take my nap.
At least okay.
Yeah, I'm human.
That is human. That is
I'm human.
humanly.
Yes, I said there are many ways to be human, and I think people in current day and age are less forgiving, more judgmental. But it's always harder to understand and to think. It's easier to judge. So
Okay. And okay, anyway, the last one, just for the sake for the video, okay, and then I think you know Yulina personally, so I just put it out there. Travel the world 69, just say Tweety Bird. I think this one is among you both. I'm not really sure
yes,
about Tweety Bird thing.
Tweety Bird is this character from Looney Tunes.
yeah.
Yes.
But I think it's inside,
Yes,
inside joke, inside joke.
yes.
So okay, thank you for sharing with us a lot of all these insights and about motorsports and having this interview with me. I really honored.
Yes.
And I heard that also YCRS is also coming out next year.
Yes,
Sepang,
they'll have one
hopefully.
next season,
Yeah, then I'll be seeing you again.
Of course.
Yeah,
Yes, please.
yeah.
And I welcome anyone and everyone to join us as well. You learn a lot and
Yes.
you understand not just yourself as a rider, but yourself as a person, you know.
Yeah.
And they teach you a lot of things that you will not imagine a riding academy would.
Yes, that's true. So, all right, that's it. So thank you for your time and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for watching.